Hey everyone, welcome back to Stadium Stats. Today we're going to be looking at our matchup of the Super Bowl. So without further ado, and without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. Looking at our matchup, on the AFC side, it's the 1-seeded Kansas City Chiefs, and on the NFC side, it is the 2-seeded Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, they're coming off a dominant win in a game where, yes, the Commanders stood a chance going in, but the Eagles proved that wrong the entire game. The first half was relatively close, but the Eagles had a lead the entire time after the first drive where the Commanders scored a field goal. The Eagles never let that lead up, and in the second half, they dominated the Commanders, winning 55-23. The Eagles had 7 rushing touchdowns. 7. That is the most ever in the championship round. And sorry, Cowboys fans, but that was actually more than you guys had the entire season. The Cowboys had 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. The Eagles had 7 rushing touchdowns just in that game alone against the Commanders. They dominated on offense. Their defense held the Commanders to under 30 points, which was crucial in keeping the Commanders in check, and they just played unbelievable. Saquon had 2 carries for 2 touchdowns and 60-plus yards on his first 2 carries. He ended up with 3 touchdowns on the day. Even their backups, Will Shipley was doing pretty well as well. He scored a big touchdown. Jalen Hurts played really well, both in the run and pass game. All around, great game by the Eagles. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they're also coming off a win. Not quite as dominant, but more impressive, arguably. They were playing against the Bills, their number 1 rival in the AFC, it seems. They tend to come against each other every time in the playoffs, and the Chiefs always win, dropping Josh Allen to 0-4 versus the Chiefs in the playoffs. This game was close the entirety of the game. It was a 1-score game almost the whole time, if not the entire time, and it was just an all-around great game. It was back and forth, so many score switches, so many lead swaps. It was great entertainment, but let's get into how they played. This was the first game all season that the Kansas City Chiefs scored over 30 points. Let me repeat that. This is the first game all season that the Kansas City Chiefs have scored over 30 points. And they ended up winning this game because the Bills scored 29 to the Chiefs 32. The Chiefs are not the same team that they have been in the past. Their defense is the dominant side. But in this game, their offense really did show. They played a really good offensive game. They couldn't be stopped very consistently by the Bills, and while the Bills could stop them on occasion, there was no consistency to that. The Chiefs could kind of do a lot on offense. Their pass game looked really good. Their run game with Kareem Hunt looked pretty good, although Isaiah Pacheco does not look like the same player he has in the past. Patrick Mahomes had his best game in a while. He did play really well. The only thing that was a mistake on their part was fumbling the ball, which was their first turnover since the last time they played the Bills in the regular season. All around, great game, but the Chiefs ended up coming away with a win. Now, who do I think will win this game? This is a rematch of the Super Bowl 2 years ago, where the Chiefs beat the Eagles on a last-minute play where the Eagles lost by 3 due to a defensive pass interference call. This is a totally different matchup. The Eagles are a totally new team, and the Chiefs arguably are a different team too. The Chiefs, they're more of a defensive team than they were even back then. Their offense now has a lot more weapons, but it's inconsistent. They have Kareem Hunt, which they didn't have. They have Xavier Worthy, which is a huge deep threat weapon. They have a bunch of other deep wide receiver pieces like DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. They've got weapons, but they're not consistent on offense. The Eagles, on the other hand, they are even better on offense and better on defense than they were 2 years ago. The Eagles' defense is so much better because their secondary is so much better, with the additions of 2 Defensive Rookie of the Year candidates in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Unbelievable players. That has changed the entirety of their secondary. Their offense is also totally different, now having Saquon Barkley, who is arguably the best running back, had one of the best running back seasons we've ever seen between the post and regular season. Unbelievable season by him. Over 2,000 yards in the regular season. Towards the top of the list all time in total yards between regular season and postseason. All around fantastic performance by Saquon, and he changes the complexity of that offense. Their pass offense is not quite as consistent as it was in the past, but it looked really good against the Commanders and looks like it could keep up. This is going to be a really close matchup, and I really do think it could go either way, especially considering the Eagles are arguably a better team than they were the last time these two teams matched up. That being said, I do think it's very hard to pick against the Kansas City Chiefs, especially considering they're going for the first ever three-peat in NFL history. This is the third Super Bowl they're in a row. They won the past two. They are on pace, if they win this, to be the first team ever to win 3 in a row. I think that's enough motivation that the Chiefs will end up winning this game, unfortunately. And so I'm going to go with the Chiefs to win in what I think will be a very good game, and what could honestly be an offensive game, but what will most likely be a defensive showing by the Chiefs and an offensive showing by the Eagles. And honestly, both offense and defense by the Eagles. The one thing that I think can cause this game to swing in the Eagles' favor is if it's a high-scoring game, because I think the Chiefs might struggle to keep up. If the Eagles score nearly as many points as they did against the Commanders, I do think they're going to end up winning this game. But I think the Chiefs' defense is a lot better than the Commanders, so it's hard to see them scoring that much. But if they do, the Eagles will probably win this game. That being said, I think it'll be close no matter what, but I'm going with the Chiefs to three-peat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. We're heading into the offseason. Enjoy the Super Bowl, guys. If you want me to cover anything during the offseason, I'm more than happy to. Leave it in the comments what you want. I can cover other sports. I can cover possible things about football, such as looking into next season, looking back at this season. I can look at individualized teams. Just send me whatever you guys want me to cover in the comment section. But for now, we're heading into the offseason. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Follow me on my socials on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And I'll tune in with you guys next season, or maybe during the offseason. But regardless, enjoy the Super Bowl, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.